Manchester City got the better of Arsenal 2-0 to win the first silverware of the season. Let's talk about the tactical display last night between Arsenal and Manchester City. If you saw my match, pre-match video, my pre-match analysis, I made mention of Manchester City using the likes of Jeremy Doku and Ryan Cherki, more like copying and pasting what they did against Real Madrid. That Real Madrid game was more like a dress rehearsal to how City were going to play in this final Carabao Cup final. Guardiola was already preparing for the Carabao Cup final against Real Madrid, and if you look at what they did, they actually played quite an intricate game. Look at that Arsenal, they are quite solid and compact. Like I made mention, they are quite solid and compact, and Arsenal compact side needed some intricate 1v1 wingers, players that can take on players one-on-one, players that can take advantage of those half spaces, players that can take advantage of the pockets, and without losing the ball. And Ryan Cherki did that marvelously. Jeremy Doku did that marvelously. And one thing again that has worked against Manchester City this season, especially whenever Bernardo Silva and Rodri plays in the midfield, Rodri is left alone. So it doesn't really help City in transitions. They are prone to transitions. But yesterday, if you look at the heat map of Bernardo Silva, he stayed as close as possible to Rodri. He made sure that the players up front had security. He didn't bump forward as much as possible. He stayed closer to Rodri. In fact, at a point he was even deeper than Rodri in the middle of the park. That's the protection that he needs. He's coming back from an ACL, and the player that is coming back from an ACL needs protection. He doesn't have the legs again to run around as much as possible. And Bernardo Silva did that marvelously. I must give him that kudos. And other things that happened as well, the centre backs actually spot on the goalkeeper. Everything that City did yesterday, they were spot on. They wanted it more. That hunger came, and Arsenal really didn't have that mid block. They didn't have that spaces to pass in. City pressed. Their pressing was spot on. The front four, they used their front four to press. To make, because Arsenal don't really have those players in the midfield that can pick the ball from the defense. To bring it up with those intricate passing. So City pressed them, didn't give them those passing channels to see if they could pass from the back. And in the end, kudos to Pep and Manchester City.